Well, since there are a few people joining, I think I'll start. Yeah, so today the topic is when to use informal. So I get this question on this, not Instagram, sorry, on Facebook, in my group, not in my group, sorry, from individual person. I get a message from this person saying, "Hello, Sean. Thanks for your support. When is it okay?" Actually, let me open the message up. It says, "Yep, right here. It says, I'm not going to say her name. It is a she. I'm not going to say her name though. She says, okay, hello, Sean. So, when is it okay to actually start? So, like, this person has been seeing someone, right? Or not, maybe like whenever you meet someone new, like a new person you've met. And when she's saying, when is it okay to start using informal? And she also adds that she's been meeting this person. She has met this person for a few times now, and she is gradually trying to uh, switch to informal, but she doesn't have the confidence to do it because she's not a native speaker, which is very common. Actually, a lot of people ask me that here in Japan. How are you doing, teacher? Yes, I am doing okay. A bit cold over here, Latifa, by the way. In Aichi, it's June. We're in the northern hemisphere. I don't know where you are, but it's supposed to be really hot in June, July, August in the summer. But it's I got my jacket on, so it kind of explains how cold it is. Yeah. I'm an athlete, so I always feel hot, but today it's a bit cold, to be honest. I got my warm coffee. So anyway, back to the question. This person is asking when she can use informal with a friend, not a friend, with other people in Japan, right? In Japanese. And there's no specific rule for this. So I would say that it depends on the relationship with the person and the person's age, right? So one important thing that I've noticed over the past few years in Japan is that a lot of people in their 20s and 30s really don't care about it. So, like, for example, when you meet a person, you say, konnichiwa, right? Rule number one, you probably should use formal at the beginning. But after that, if a lot of people do this, right? In Japan, a lot of people kind of evaluate your position against. Does that make sense? Like, you'll see the person and you evaluate where you kind of fit in that person's head, right? So, like, are you below him? Are you above him? Meaning, like, age, relationship, job is really an important thing. It doesn't happen in the US where I lived before, but in Japan, it's usually, if you're a doctor, a lawyer, like good jobs, the high paying jobs, they tend to kind of use formal more. But that being said, a lot of people in their 20s and 30s do not care that much. So, like, after that, 30-second to 1 minute conversation, it usually switches to informal if you're both in your 20s or 30s, right? Or at least if if the other person's young. And yeah, if you're both young, it really doesn't matter. But that being said, it's pretty it's kind of unusual if you did that to a 40 or 50-year-old person, an elderly, not elderly, mid-aged person. So please remember that. And also, added to that, I was going to say one more thing. Yeah, Latif, if you have a question about that, you can just drop a comment, all right? I'll answer that at any time if you want me to. And so I mentioned age. Yeah. Another thing is your relationship, right? So, yeah, I'll just open the message up again. I told this person, I told her that it depends on not only the age, but your relationship with the person, right? So what I mean by that is, I'll give you an example, okay? So in general, if your relationship with the person, so you meet the person, right? And if your relationship with the person is business, for example, now I don't mean like, shake hands, talk. I don't mean that kind of, you're a company A, company B, not that type of thing. What I'm saying is if you are either receiving or providing a service, For example, if you're a waiter at a restaurant, of course, you're going to be using formal to the customer, right? Also, if you're the customer, you're supposed to be speaking formal to the person, right? Another example is if you need to do some documents, write some documents at the, or get some, family-related stuff at the city hall, right? Which happens because of here, it's kind of public insurance or public. In the U.S., where I lived before, it's private, so you really don't need to do anything at the city hall. But when you apply for what was that? Government support, stuff like, if you're a single mom, single dad, and if you want the government, what's that called? I forgot the word for it. If you need some kind of support from the government and you need to fill an application, that will be definitely in formal Japanese, because it's service to service, right? You're receiving it and the person providing it to you, right? Or if you're seeing a doctor, if the doctor's not your friend, if it's a friend, it's fine. Oh, we got another person. Hi, say hi. Yeah. Yep. If the doctor's not your relative, family, or which is prohibited, your family can't be your patient, right? So that doesn't happen. So usually, in general, if you go to a doctor, or if you get some kind of service from that person, it's you use formal. All right. Does that make sense? Hi, guys. Thanks for waving at me. Yep. So, to sum it up, I'll say that just remember this, all right? As long as you're in a service relationship, either you're giving it or you're receiving it, it's usually you use the formal way of speaking, which is going to be watashi instead of boku, right? So I would like to have this at the restaurant. これを一つお願いします, right? Not ちょうだい, which is can I have it? It's please may I have it? Is お願いします, right? ください, right? So yep, I think that kind of answers that question. Do you guys have any questions, Latifa? Whoever's watching? I would like to answer it. Yeah, and thanks a lot, guys, for joining every day. Not every day, every time we do a live. I really appreciate it. The other day we did an event in my Facebook group, and yep, it was a pretty fun one. I was thinking about doing it for like 30 minutes, but we talked about stuff for like an hour. So just went on and on and on, and you guys don't stop. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it. So thanks a lot for that. Yes, if you guys do not have any questions, I'll finish it right there. But let's see. All right. Question. Can I ask you, do people in Japan speak English as a second language? Yes and no. It's a 50-50. We do learn Japanese in school as a second language. We do learn it. It's like in English, we say should, could, and would are really different things, right? Like he should be here and he will be here are really totally different things, right? So we do learn English in Japan. You need to learn it. It's like the only option you have in your compulsory education, your 6 to 18 education. And I guess up in Canada, it's French, right? I don't know. My friend told me that once. In the US, in my school, it was Spanish. So I know a little bit of Spanish and Latin languages. But but in Japan, we usually do learn it, but we're not really good at it. Like I'm good at it because I don't really come from a traditional Japanese family, but the people in Japan, they learn it, but they're not really good at it, right? And another interesting fact is that they're really good readers, right? They can read and write really well, but they can't speak. When it comes to speaking, they really have trouble. So in general, not all, but a lot of, I would say 95% of the time, they really can't speak it, but they can read and write. Do you know the reason why, by the way? Yeah, Latifa, if you know why, if you can guess why, please drop a comment. It's actually because I think in a lot of Asian countries as well, not only Japan, but maybe in some Eastern European countries where college is like a really big, it's like climbing up a mountain, right? So like getting in the US, it's usually getting into college is the easy part. Getting out of it is graduating from it is the hard part, right? In Japan, it's the opposite. Getting into it is really hard. So, and once you get into it, once you get into college, it's really easy to graduate, right? You just listen to a teacher, do whatever you're supposed to do, and you're done, right? But yeah, so the reason why a lot of people are good at reading and writing is that they study for the test to enter college. But after that, they're like, they don't have a speaking test, right? It's only reading and writing because you don't speak at a test, right? It's kind of noisy with all the other 100 people around you, right? So, yeah, yeah, you thought so? Yeah, thanks for all the comments. Yeah, so because the Japanese study super hardcore up until like 18 to get into college, they're really good at reading and writing, but they do not. I don't think a lot of people can speak English that well. They could understand it, but they don't speak it, right? So, yes, if you guys do have any other questions, please ask. If not, I think I'm going to finish this live soon. I'll answer a little more if you guys want to ask anything. What's some famous food in Japan? A lot actually. I don't know. My favorite. I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite. They're all good, right? Ramen's great. I don't know if that's. It maybe started in China, but I don't know where it's from, but it is Japanese food, I guess. Ramen. It maybe started in China, but yeah, ramen's great. I'm not sure if you guys know udon. It's like the thicker version of ramen. So ramen's like really thin, right? And udon's the no, sorry, ramen's the thin one, and the thick one is called udon. It's the white with the white stuff, the white noodles, and traditional stuff like sushi. That's great. I love it. I just went there like a week ago. Did a conveyor belt thing, the kaiten sushi thing. That was cool. Yeah, and another fun fact in Japan is that a lot of the the young people, a lot of young kids these days, not only young kids, a lot of people actually in general in Japan just do fast food because it's easier and cheaper. So yeah, that kind of, I don't know if it sucks or not, but it's kind of funny that we have all the traditional stuff downtown, but we just get away with McDonald's. That is kind of funny, but that's so for those who think that once you get here you can get all the cool stuff. I mean, you can get the cool stuff, but a lot of times, what's advertised is usually the fast food crap that's out there. That's really cheap. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of guilty of that too. I would be driving, and at every corner you have like a convenience store, like not a McDonald's, but some fast food chain that it's like $5 to get like a burger or a pizza. So I do that a lot. Yeah, that's what I do. Oh yes, ha ha ha. I have a problem with pronunciation. What should I do? Okay, pronunciation. That's just repetition, man. So like for example, my third language, I didn't actually study it. I was kind of surrounded by Brazilian family members. My relatives are, my other side of the family. I have a lot of Brazilians, and I was kind of forced into that environment when I went to see them, right? So, what was my point? Yeah. So I as I would speak to them, as I spoke more, I got good at it, and it doesn't happen overnight. It happens usually after like 3 months, where you kind of get the ball rolling, kind of pick up the momentum, and you kind of understand how people say it. It's kind of like your instinct. You're kind of training your instinct and saying, at these certain situation, you wouldn't say that. You would say this. There's no reason for it, but you kind of start to understand how people do it, and you kind of start to imitate it, right? So it's at first it's gonna be hard. It's not your fault. I mean, it's no one's fault. If it's not your language, it's kind of creepy if you already knew it, right? So pronunciation is something you will get used to gradually, not overnight. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. Also, a lot of Japanese courses that are out there, there's one thing that I really don't like is that even in like other Facebook groups, a lot of people say the pronunciation is crappy. And I go, no. As long as you're able to convey the information, you're fine, right? So for example, I have a international student here in my language school, right? I teach English and Japanese. So yeah, just so you know. And I have students who learn English or Japanese as their second language, right? And there's one particular student, a high school student. She's about 16 years old, and she comes every Saturday. And her English is, so what I'm trying to say is her pronunciation is not like a native speaker, nothing close to a native speaker, but I totally 100% understand what she's saying. And there's no problem with our communication. So as long as you have that grammar and vocabulary in place, you don't really need to sound like a native speaker. You could try to get closer to it, but you don't need to sound like a native speaker. And don't stress that too much, because that's gonna kind of, I don't know, be something that would, if that's something that just starts to discourage you, that's not really good. And as long as you have your grammar and vocabulary and a little bit of pronunciation, a little bit of practice, you'll be fine. Like I said, the main goal of learning language is to communicate and convey information to the other person. So you do not need to worry about that. At least that's how we do it here. That's how I think. That's my kind of personal philosophy when it comes to teaching a language. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, no worries, man. Ask me anything. I hope I can help. Our purpose is to speed up your language learning journey. So yep. If there's no other questions, I'll end it. And yeah, Latifa, since you mentioned it, we will have a lot of live events like we did last week. So yeah, why don't you join us next time? Yeah, sounds cool. Yeah, there are like three other people, maybe four, joining us last week, and they just did not stop, man. It felt like I was playing with my little baby nieces, man. They just don't have those breaks. They just start asking questions. They don't stop, and it's really good. It really means that you're interested in that learning experience. So yeah, you should join us sometimes. All right. This is Sean from Aichi, Japan. I own a language school. I teach Japanese and English. I do both. I was born and raised here. So, and if you like the video, please. I'm doing this on Facebook and YouTube. So a short version will be on YouTube. So please subscribe, and yep, tell me what you thought in the comments. All right. Ciao, guys. Enjoy it. Enjoy your day.